Hey everybody, it's Ryan. Welcome back to How Farms Work. We are getting 2 deliveries today. That's right, 2. So as many of you guys will remember, Travis and I went out to the other side of Iowa to look at a John Deere baler. And we were looking at that one because we've been looking at getting another baler. As we've experienced in the past with 2 balers, we've decided, you know what, we really like it for the number of bales that we do every year. Now we got a few comments in our last video about that baler, about why we didn't buy a Kuhn baler instead. And the reason for that is because there isn't a used market for the Kuhn 5x6 round balers. The VB560s are still very new, and there isn't really any kind of used market out there for those machines. After running the Kuhn VB560 for the past several years, I really like it. It handles really well. I really like the bales that it puts out for how dense they are. I really liked the kicker. Surprisingly, I didn't think I would like a kicker, but the Kuhn baler showed me that, those are actually pretty nice. And also the cycle time on the rear gate. It was a really nice feature to have as well. I feel like you can really pound out the bales faster with that faster cycle time rear end gate, which I believe Kuhn has the fastest cycle time in the industry. But our budget is the only reason that we didn't go with the Kuhn baler, just because we knew how much we were looking to spend, and for the price of a new Kuhn VB560, we couldn't fit that within our budget. So we went with the second thing that we know best, which is a John Deere baler. We've got another one here, and we looked at a newer model, which is a 569. We went and looked at that one out in Iowa, on the other side of Iowa, and it was a nice baler. However, this one, it was closer, spent less on freight, and overall, I think this one has a few less scratches and dings here and there, if you know what I mean, even though it does have more bales on it. CJ Beeps is going to be pulling in anytime now, so what do you say we go down and greet him?
I stepped on the dang thing down there in the lot. I tripped on it. It's like, well, I guess we're committed now. This one isn't staying here. It's going to another farm, so that one I'll just back in the shed with the skid steer.
It's always windy, isn't it?
Yeah, it isn't. It seems like it's, you gotta wait till 6, 7 o'clock at night before the wind finally gives up. So CJ Beeps just dropped off some equipment. It was kind of a three for one deal because we ended up buying everything you see here. We originally started out really only going to look at bean head, which it was just more or less on a whim, so it's amazing how things like that can sneak up on you. But then I knew that for the length of these heads we got now, because we're going from a 20-foot bean head and a 6-row corn head. The header cart that we have from last fall is more of a rotor or a storage head or a storage header cart. This is the all-wheel steer cart, which is going to allow us to get into some of these tighter fields a lot easier, and maybe roads a little bit better. I mean, going across the fields and whatnot when we do. We went with a 30-foot bean head because honestly, it complements the planter. I mean, being a 30-foot wide planter, you're able to take the full pass of the planter with the bean head, because we were looking at a 35-foot. Believe it or not, just because at the time prices were actually, within reason. We really could have considered it, but I really wanted to stay with something that I make a pass with the planter, the combine can follow behind it. Plus you start worrying about where you get on contours where you're not exactly making a quite perfect pass with the planter. You're taking out that one odd row that the bean head is sitting on. So it's got the hydraulic fore and aft on it, the raise and lower, or the real height, obviously. We got the full length finger for the auger, which is huge because with 20-foot head, we just had those plastic add-ons that we did. This is supposed to really help with the flow through into the head, so you're not getting the slugging as bad as we were with the 20-foot. And granted, we got more machine pushing this one through the field, so maybe power, you're not going to feel it so much. Because we haven't ran any soybeans through that 9770 yet, so I mean, that's going to be a new experience for us. So, didn't go with the Draper. I mean, we're talking like $40,000 more than what this one was. So, the plastic snoots on the end was also a big plus because did not like the metal ones on the 20-foot. I mean, between getting dinged and dented and banged, and just they weren't really that enjoyable to run. By having the all-wheel steer cart on this, really what it does, it allows the header to follow you into some of these field driveways a little bit better, especially where you don't have a whole lot of road where you can swing wide and turn in. The header cart was a big push. So when we went out to Beeps the other day, well, I say the other day, I mean it was what, February, because you were at the farm machinery show. So Dad and I decided to go do some exploring and saw the head, thought to ask about the head, asked him about the all-wheel steering carts because I did ask around and I was told that if I went through another source, I wouldn't be able to actually get an all-wheel steering header cart until maybe the end of September. So you're talking, just with everything going on in the world right now, hoping that you're going to get delivery on a piece of equipment essentially right when you're going to need it is way too big of a risk to take right now. So originally I thought I was looking for your regular, just a standard fixed wheel header cart. And I was told I could actually pick one up through them. They had actually a pile of them sitting there. And then we ended up picking up the demo unit from last year. So, I mean, kind of a win-win.
How does the cart steer?
Well, basically, just like on the back end, you got that rod that runs the length of it. So as your front wheels are going left and right, this rod goes to the back end, and you have your tie rods and whatnot. And then as the front wheels turn, the back wheels follow suit to complement it. So, like I said, zero experience running them. So, I mean, this is all going to be new to us this fall. The big perk, hopefully, when we go to back this thing in is hopefully we can get it around the shed to actually get it in the shed, because now I'm looking at this and I'm getting a little nervous. But it does need some work, like some of the fingers on the end. On these, it's similar to the last head we had. There's actually a plastic nub on these teeth that goes up into this pipe. And like this one, you can see it's a breakaway feature, so you don't destroy stuff. But like this, oops, I can't. That's where it should be, and the finger or the button, I can see it sheared back. So I'm gonna have to go through and replace a bunch of these, and then, well, like I said, the new guards on the ends is pretty much to be expected. I can see a few down there. Dad and I already talked about it. We're gonna go through and replace the cutter bar just all together. Go through. We did it on that last one. I'd rather just have a brand new cutter bar in it and start fresh. And no, we're not really gonna work on this thing
Until probably August.
I mean, we get the combine out and do some work to it. I do want to talk about this real quick because it does have it's been a modified head. This wasn't originally meant for the single point hookup. So this is what you hook up. He said, we got some O-rings missing. We'll clean it up and whatnot. I mean, we already knew that when we got it. But this is what allows us to hook up to the head and allows us to run it on the 9770. I mean, quick and hook and unhook a lot simpler than having to do all of this.
And then worry about some connections not being tight.
Or there's hydraulic pressure on it, and you're trying to get the pressure off. I believe this is a kit that you can get from your dealer. This already had it on it. Kind of looks kind of awkward. I mean, with the hoses up across here, but you know what? It works. I'll take it. Downside to this is, you know, you're gonna get material and whatnot. I mean, soybeans are dirty, built up on it, but go through and hit it with the air hose. It won't be that big of a deal. And what that kit does is it consolidates all these connections back to that single point. And the goal is, which as the farm every year goes by, we're constantly making that progression towards trying to be as efficient as possible. I mean, bigger combine, bigger heads, a number 2 of the thing behind you. Basically just because you got to try to be as efficient as you can, because you're always fighting weather. So, I mean, if we made that agreement last year. We had, it took us 2 weeks, because we actually had a couple weeks we were down harvesting beans last year, where if we would have had this set up last year, we would have been done with our beans first week of October, and then we could have forgotten about them, because even though we needed a bigger head to complement the bigger combine, but I think it's pretty well known, beans aren't really liked around here. They're a necessary evil. Part of the reason why we were looking at a head like this with the full fingered reel or auger is trying to make it as painless as possible. So, and then while we were down there looking at this, we went around the lot and I says, "Hey, look at that!" And just by complete chance, which is pretty much how all of this stuff happened, they had the baler that I kind of had in my mind. Gullwing doors, I don't know the story on these. I really don't. I actually like them because access to everything, they reduce the amount of buildup and material and whatnot. It does have the twine boxes, which mean absolutely nothing to me. The big perk, the only perk I'm going to say about the twine boxes is because I've gotten into the habit, especially with the 566, I put a gallon of water, gallon jugs on each side of it for emergency situations, and that water came in handy last year when that one bearing went out. So I mean, if that's what it takes to save your baler, we're going to go through and I'm going to have a heart-to-heart with myself as to what this baler all needs. The ISO bus, because this baler, the way all of our tractors are set up, the 82, the 46 with the ag leader monitor, and the 76, we have an 1800 monitor. It probably isn't going to get done right away just because of time before first crop. But I can put that 1800 monitor in the 7600, and the intentions are I can run this baler on any of the 3 of our primary tractors, and then I can also do it without having to swap monitors, which is huge. Unlike the 566, where that one is pretty much semi-permanently mounted, and that would be a real pain in the butt to have to move between tractors just for an emergency situation, which is what it would probably be. I'm going to go through the big floater tires on it are huge for flotation, plus down at the valley, soft ground. I mean, I've buried that one down to the axle on our other baler. The chains, ouch, just because they are heavier on the premium, I guess. I don't know if the standard 569 they're as heavy, because I do know like the bearings and shafts. I want to say, don't hold me to it, that the roller chains are heavier than the 569 standard, but this one alone, just the long one, I do believe that's like $400 just for this one. So as far as me changing it every single year, kind of unlikely. Shouldn't have to, especially if we're splitting the work up or the bales up between 2 balers versus just the one, because on ours, I already went through the chains on that one, and maybe we can get through first crop, then we're probably going to change them all. So that's where you have to have a real heart-to-heart with yourself too, is how much do you want to risk not fixing or not replacing wear parts before you start in for the first of the year, and then you run into a potential problem. Because first cut, that's going to be your heaviest material. The kicker, I'm not a huge fan of the kicker, but we can lock it up, I do believe. I have no experience with
Try it
kickers.
and see what you think, because it works good for the most part.
The storage space on it's going to be really nice. It is different than our other baler, just because of how you load it, how it's threaded and all that, which isn't no big deal. This is a cover edge baler, which means nothing to me, because I might do it once on like some fine second or third cut stuff just to say that I did it, but the fact that it's a cover edge baler doesn't do anything for me. We actually have to have, which is slightly annoying, but you have to have spacers in the ends of our rolls now. That's another process about it that I'm not really sold on, but because I've actually been told, especially on hay that you're selling, that they'll actually discount you for having the cover edge bales. So not a huge deal. The latch looks like they tightened it, which is good. It's got the premium, has the second or the third sensor for your bale height. So as you're going across the field, you should have 3 sensors on the monitor versus the 2. Not really sure that matters, but it's a perk. I mean, just because it's a different baler doesn't mean I like everything about it. Gonna decide whether or not I want to put the reverse monitor or the backup camera on it, because the problem is when you're looking at a baler that could potentially be on 3 different tractors, which tractor, I got a new calf down there, which tractor do you put the monitor in? 1,000 RPM, which is fine. Really wasn't a big fan of the 540, just because with the 46 and the 82, it's being able to use them everywhere on every machine.
How many bales does this one have on it?
I want to say 13,000.
Now we just got to find space for them. Fun little fact from our friend Ron Schroeder over at Hardung Family Farms is that John Deere is actually not making any more of the auger style bean heads in the US anymore. The only place where they're actually going to be manufacturing that style of head is down in Brazil. They're moving more towards Draper because they see that as being the future, and I see all the benefits of a Draper and I know why people would want them. The big thing with us is always just our budget, but that's why we went with one of these heads. I could see us going to a Draper in the future. For right now, we're just happy that we got a new, larger bean head. You guys are going to see more of the bean head and the baler in future videos when it comes time to start harvesting some crops, but that's pretty much it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out all of our other videos. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, all how farms work. And with that, I'll see you next time.